During the COVID-19 pandemic, some state Medicaid programs were required to provide continuous enrollment. This meant they were prohibited from removing any new or old members. According to the Trevor Project, 28% of LGBTQ youth reported experiencing homelessness or housing instability at some point in their lives. Many Indigenous communities use hoop dancing and traditional healing ceremonies, representing the never-ending cycle of life. If you're planning on traveling out of the country this summer, listen up, because getting your passport right now is more challenging than usual. Places like Ryan House provide respite for families who need a break and hospice care to help children during the end-of-life process. The Arabian Horse Show just came into town, bringing thousands of guests and their wallets. Arizona is home to 3 national parks: Saguaro, Petrified Forest, and of course, the Grand Canyon. Imagine gliding thousands of feet in the air, carried only by the wind and the aeronautic engineering of your aircraft. That's what glider pilots do every day. Starting this Saturday, Arizona's Medicaid program, also known as AXIS, will resume its annual renewal process, and they'll determine which members still qualify. Right now, 2.5 million people are covered by AXIS, and an estimated 600,000 members are at risk of losing Medicaid and kids care for coverage in Arizona. A turn signal is an ordinary sound to most, but for 73-year-old Melanie O'Rourke, this was one of the first sounds she recognized after receiving a cochlear implant.
People say losing your hearing is you're going through a grief process, and I did. I was depressed.
O'Rourke lost her hearing due to meningitis 20 years ago.
One of the biggest things that was on my mind was that this impacted my profession.
Only 53.3% of deaf people ages 25 to 64 were employed in 2017, compared to 75.8% of hearing people, an employment gap of 22.5%, according to the National Deaf Center. And without insurance, a cochlear implant can cost between $30,000 and $50,000.
I mean, these folks, many of them very well educated, have had a successful career in whatever career field that they've chosen, and all of a sudden find themselves unable to work.
Senate Bill 1017, introduced by Senator Staubs, would make cochlear implants eligible for coverage through Arizona's healthcare cost containment system for anyone over 21.
Arizona is one of probably 8 or 9 states that doesn't cover cochlear implants in adults. And so adults don't have access if they're being covered by Medicaid.
A cochlear implant helps those with severe hearing loss by bypassing the damaged portion of the ear and delivering sound signals to the hearing nerve.
We undervalue hearing very often. You know, we think it's not that important, but it is such an integral part of who we are and the way we live.
Both the Democratic and Republican parties in the Senate voted to pass the bill last week. As a mother of a child with autism, Michelle Hendry feared what would happen to her son if she was no longer around.
I thought he was going to be with us forever. I thought he was, going to live out all his days with us, which kind of scared me, because what happens when my husband and I pass away?
Now, her son is 31. He's living on his own in an affordable housing community operated by the Foundation for Senior Living.
I've been here since the day this place opened.
But the journey isn't easy.
It can be a little bit scary at times.
Only a few properties are designed for people with neurodiversities. Will had specific needs when looking for housing.
Somewhere quiet, somewhere and people are friendly.
A First Place Arizona report reveals the lack of affordability options for the neurodiverse population.
There are none in this community that are specific to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, other than these small projects that we've done with the Foundation for Senior Living. And those account to about 10 apartments.
To live in the Phoenix metropolitan area last year, a person needed to earn over $43,000 a year or work 66 hours a week at minimum wage to afford a 1-bed apartment. And despite a desire to work, only about 25% of adults with any disability are employed in Maricopa County.
Individuals with neurodiversities have a desire to live with other folks, to be part of the community. They need to be supported to do that.
Chase Field, where the Arizona Diamondbacks play, seats nearly 50,000 people. And according to the report, the population of people with intellectual or developmental disabilities in Arizona is 3 times the capacity of the stadium.
what we heard over and over from our respondents was that they want a neuro-inclusive plans community.
First Place offers supportive housing for adults with neurodiversities and a transitional academy for adults with autism to learn how to live independently. Will was one of the first graduates from the academy.
They taught cooking, they taught personal hygiene, cleanliness in the house. It was a 2-year program. It was quite intense.
First Place ensures housing options are as bountiful for people with neurodiversities.
They also teach you various things about the community and about how to stay safe.
Will's mom hopes to see more facilities and apartment complexes like Will's built specifically for people on the spectrum.
It's becoming more and more common for people to be on this spectrum. We're going to need more housing. And if the people are, if the autistic people are treated well, they're going to be contributing members of society. We're not going to lock them away in an institution. They can help out.